Alright guys, today we're going to be looking at my CRKT Thunderbolt 2 here. This is the knife that I use every day at work. You've seen it in my duty belt video and a bunch of other videos that we have here on the channel. And guys have asked to take a little closer look at it as long as we're going through a little jaunt of going through the knives that I own. So the CRKT Thunderbolt 2 has served me for about 4 or 5 years now. It's got some positives and some negatives, and we're going to go over those today.
Where are you going? Get out of the way!
Now the biggest positive with this knife is the blade shape. I was never really a fan of Tonto blades until I got this knife. This was a gift from my wife quite a while ago, and I wasn't a big fan of the Tonto blade, but I started carrying it because she gave it to me as a gift, and I ended up falling in love with this knife. The Tonto makes it significantly easier to sharpen. I had never had a Tonto knife before, and I didn't know how easy these straight-edge Tonto knives are to sharpen. And the knife has proven to be pretty durable in my use. I think I've only sharpened it once, which says a lot about the steel that they use in this thing. It is a liner lock, which isn't my favorite. I'm an old Spyderco guy, so I like back locks, but you know, the wife doesn't know that. She doesn't know the difference between a liner lock or a frame lock or a back lock, so I can't complain too much about that, and I've gotten used to it over the years. It also has a weird locking feature where not only does it have this liner lock, but also has a lock on the back of the knife. If you see this, you push this little locking device forward on there, and it keeps the liner lock from unlocking, so it's locked. It's supposed to simulate having a fixed blade, and all I've noticed it's simulating is irritating the crap out of me when I'm trying to close my knife and I accidentally actuate that lock. Luckily, I haven't needed this for any nefarious purposes. I haven't been stabbing bad guys with it or anything, so it really doesn't matter that it has that little locking mechanism. But an interesting feature of this that I haven't really heard anybody else talk about when they talk about this little lock on the back is that it locks when you push forward. So if you were to take this knife out and open it up and then stab with it, your thumb would naturally actuate that lock, making it harder for the knife to close up. So I guess there is some actual utility in this design, and at least they thought it out. They didn't put some weird flipper holder lock thing down in the corner that wouldn't really do you any good. They thought this out and made it so that it actually has an application for what it's trying to stop. It's got a bunch of jimping back here on the back of the blade that does a pretty good job of keeping the knife from slipping from your hands when you're using it. And although the knife is very smooth along the sides, it makes it easier to take in and out of your pocket than a more textured knife like the one I use every day. It's got these textured G10 grips on it. This one has smooth stainless grips, but because it's milled out on the sides and the edges are kind of sharp, it allows you to have traction when you're holding the knife, but not when you're retrieving it from a pocket, which is really kind of a nice feature that I wouldn't have thought of personally. It is screw together construction, but I don't make a habit of screwing the knife together and unscrewing it. I wish that the pivot point was adjustable, but it looks like you need a special tool, and I don't have the special tool. Luckily, it hasn't come loose on me. The pocket clip, you kind of get the pocket clip the way you get it. It's tip down, carry, and the pocket clip stays right there. There's no screw holes on the other side, although I guess it would be fairly easy to drill holes and tap them on the other side. I don't see a whole lot of people doing that. You can see if you take a look that this one has in fact taken a whole lot of wear. That's from hitting things with it and dropping it on the ground and stuff. You see the edge of the knife is all worn out. This is a knife that gets actual use, and yet it still locks up tight. So you can't ask a whole lot more than that from a pocket knife. So there it is. That's the knife I use at work, the CRKT Thunderbolt 2. I've got a whole lot more knives that we have in the knife playlist up here, if you guys want to check those out. And also, if you check me out on Instagram, you'll see a lot of the other stuff that I carry every day. I try to do a little EDC thing that sometimes a knife that comes out of the safe pops into. Until next week, you guys be safe and take care of each other. I'd like to thank all the Patreon supporters, and especially the Shift Supervisor level Patreon supporters that we have listed here. Your contributions are what allows free field training to continue on and become better. Thank you.